so much. What a privilege and honor it is to be here. Steve, I love you, man. You are my referral hero. You are the referral man, and we all learn so much from you. I also want to thank quickly Roger Burnett and Julie Palmer for all their great work behind the scenes. I know this is going to be such an awesome day. So you stole a little bit of my thunder. Steve was referred to me by our old friend and mutual acquaintance, Joe Mackey. And like you said earlier, all great relationships start with the conversation. Our first conversation was at Amir's, which is now La Marsa in Brighton. We had a cup of coffee, we connected. And I remember we didn't do too much together at first, but then when the idea came for Caerusnet, Steve gave me a call. And I was about 10 years into my business at that point. I thought I had done well. I had spent 5 years with another referral organization that we won't name. And I thought I was good. I thought I was all set. You know, I was like, hey man, thanks, but no thanks sort of thing. But Steve was politely persistent. And I attended that first event all because of my relationship with Steve. It's all about relationships. And though most of the time, second place stinks, I'm very proud to be the second member ever of Caerusnet, and it has been quite a ride. So fast forward about 9 years, it's the end of 2017. Steve and I go on one of our Trust Builder meetings, and I shared with him that I was leaving my company and I wanted to start, I was being called to start my own business. And it was a powerful conversation and turning point for me. Steve asked me a lot of great questions, powerful questions, and he listened intently, and he suggested that I become a facilitator. And just like when he invited me to Caerusnet, I think I said no at first, but then I thought about it. My wife actually said, no, I think you'd be good at that. And I gave it a try. And now I have 3 teams and the rest is history. So Steve was practicing humble inquiry that day, even though he may not have known it. And we're going to dive into that today. We're also going to dive into a topic that I'm really passionate about, which is this idea of powerful words. I'd like you to take away 3 things: becoming more humble as a person, as a human being, becoming a better listener, and just getting better and better every day at asking better, more powerful questions of everyone around you, certainly in business, but with your family and with your friends. So my wife is a lifelong teacher. She is a hero of mine. We just celebrated 25 years. I'll show you a picture on that in a minute. So as a teacher, she has books everywhere around our house. Lately, she's been going through her recertification process and researching an educational book she'd like to write around vocabulary. So all this came together at the perfect time. We have a few books. Word Nerds is one of them, Wordly Wise, and then another one called 30 Days to a More Powerful Vocabulary. So when I told her I was doing this presentation, I said, I'm a bit of a word nerd myself. I love looking them up all the time, especially with my mom. She's an English major and she uses words all the time. I have to look it up and see what she's talking about. And also Schitt's Creek, Moira Rose does the same thing. I'm always looking up words. And I love words that build people up and encourage people. I don't like words that do the opposite. And I heard one the other day, which you all have probably heard way too many times over the past year, and I put together a little list, words that I'm sick of. And that word was unprecedented. And here are some of the others really quick. Sorry, I hate hearing sorry. Anxiety, fear, political, can't. If you ever say can't around me, I'll turn that around super quick. Also try, then I'll do my Yoda impression on you. Sick, and anything having to do with the virus. So there, thank you for letting me get that off my chest. That was very therapeutical. Now, on to words which are much more powerful. Let me share my screen here. And words that will build us up and help us grow and establish better connections. Let's go. Here we go. It's all about relationships, the power of words in life and business. So as I said, my wife, with this passion around vocabulary teaching and instruction, she gave me this quote, which I thought was awesome. Vocabulary is the best single indicator of intellectual ability and an accurate predictor of success at school. Now, I would contend that we could put success in life, in relationships, and in business. So a question I want to ask you, being the coach that I am, is think about what are the words that you're speaking to yourself each day? What are some of those words you're using? Are they filled with love and grace? Are you giving yourself forgiveness? Are you inspiring and motivating yourself? Because I believe that if you're doing that with yourself, then chances are you're doing a pretty good job giving that to others. I believe that if we have something, we're able to give it away, and if we don't, we cannot. So then what are the words you're speaking to your prospects, customers, and clients every day? Are you continuing to refine those words in your vocabulary to make them powerful? That's the beauty of the Member Minute, is we get to clearly communicate and always work on how concisely we're giving our message. So as you think about that today, and as I shared a little list with you, I'd perhaps think about what's a word you might want to stop using. A client shared the other day in a coaching session, he'd been using the word overwhelmed too often, and he's going to eliminate that. I thought that was really cool. And which words are you going to start using more as a result of today? I've got a few ideas for you here. And thank you to Ari Weinswag at Zingerman's, who's been a kind of a mentor to me over the last several years. At Zingerman's, I don't know how much you know what they do at Zingerman's, but they have a beautiful culture, amazing people, and they have images like this that all of their employees follow. And I'd like to, in an observance of Earth Day, I said, Ari, I have to share this slide with my Caerusnet peeps today because it's Earth Day. And look at this. I mean, how much more beautiful does it get? A shout out to Trisha Turner. I knew she'd like this one too. But I want you to observe and reflect on this picture for a moment. Pick out a word that lands, that resonates with you, that means something to you. There's so many good ones in there. Which word speaks to you the most right now? And did you notice what surrounds the entire picture? It's love. And as I mentioned, my amazing wife, Jennifer, as we just celebrated, by the grace of God, 25 years marriage, December 30th, I'm like, what the heck am I going to give my wife? And so through a coaching session with my coach, Todd Olson, who's a part of my Ann Arbor Caerusnet team, thank you, Todd, for helping me to realize and draw out of me that I wanted to create something for her that I could not buy for her. So I started writing. And thanks to Kurt Albrecht, a big PDQ member of my Brighton Caerusnet team, it's all about relationships. I think I called him about 10 days before and say, hey, Kurt, do you think we could pull this off? And he said, I think we can. Look what they did. I just gave him pictures and wrote this. And I was able to present my wife with this beautiful piece, Love Does Win. So here are some other words I love. I'm going to share some more with you. The more we love people, the more we give, and we want to help them and serve them. Caerusnet members are givers. It's all about giving. And we should give, I say this to my teams all the time, we should give without expecting anything in return. That only flows from a heart filled with love. And I know all of you have been in places before when you haven't experienced that, and that's one of those places that you kind of want to get away from. You want to get to a place like Caerusnet. More words I love. Opportunity. Steve mentioned it in his talk today. Ceres, the Greek god of opportunity. How awesome is that? I have in fact, you might see it right behind me here, this little magnet my old assistant Pam gave me. In the middle of difficulty lies opportunity. Albert Einstein, what an awesome quote. I started my third group, thank you to Bill Shaw, down at the Durfee Innovation Society in Detroit, and they call themselves an opportunity hub. It's an old school, 150,000 square foot school that they're now rehabbing. So all of those classrooms are now offices. A lot of them are nonprofit. It's an amazing place to be. There's a lot of work going on. Look what Thomas Edison said. Opportunity, I have this right on my desk in front of me. I see it every day. Opportunity is missed by most people because it is dressed in overalls and looks like work. Steve mentioned that as well. We got to get out there. I write it on my calendar every week. Shake trees, stir pots, make calls, do the work, and good things happen. Here's another word I love, grit. John Gordon just sent this out a couple weeks ago in his weekly newsletter. It is the #1 predictor and factor of success. One of the best quotes I've ever seen. I see it in numerous places over time. It was often quoted by Ray Kroc, but it was President Calvin Coolidge who said, nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Nothing is more common than unsuccessful men with talent. Genius will not. Unrewarded genius is almost a proverb. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts. There's a word for you. I don't want to be called that. Persistence and determination alone are omnipotent. Another word is health. Again, opposite of sick. Let's talk about getting healthier every day. That's my mission statement I wrote several years ago, is to help people improve their mental, physical, and spiritual health. We got to treat our body like a temple, not a tomb. That was Jim Rohn who said that. We get one shot at this. So who's on your success team to help with that? I wrote a blog on this note called My Health Success Team. My personal trainer, Chris, is on there. My U of M doctor, my chiropractor. Thank you, Dr. Melissa at Lifetime Chiropractic. And also a massage therapist. Those people are taking care of me and making sure I live a long, healthy, and prosperous life. How about words to help us grow? Look at this beautiful, this is a mural that was painted at Durfee Innovation Society. Again, another Earth Day shout out, and I knew Tricia would love that. But we have to keep growing every day, continual learning. That's what I love and I see as a like-mindedness around the Caerusnet community, is people who are so committed to learning and growing and getting better every day, never-ending improvement. I had a dojo guy, Master Sifu Robert Brown at Sandler Sales, said, Kanai, constant, never-ending improvement, Kaizen. Here's another word for you, passion. Zig Ziglar said, if you believe in yourself and have passion, you can succeed. I love that. My friend Tom DeRocher, who's a Merrill Lynch investment advisor, we've known him for many years since he was a little guy. Now he's referring clients to me for some work. But he said to me in January, he said, Doug, I care so much about the client experience. And that's something that I say to my teams all the time as well. I look around the room and I know the people in Caerusnet do their work at such a high level. It's what stands us apart from other people and creates, like Steve mentioned earlier, those raving fans. How about vision? Let's start looking down the road. Vision is the art of seeing what is invisible to others. And I love Walt Disney, who said, I dream, I test my dreams against my beliefs. I dare to take risks. We've got to take risks, and it's okay to fail. I just finished Failing Forward by John Maxwell, an amazing book. And I execute my vision to make those dreams come true. Here's another beautiful, I had to show this picture around the word vision. And as a coach, this is how I look at the coaching process. And the humble inquiry is really about using a coach approach. And you're on the same team. You're looking down the same, in this case, hole. For anybody who's not a golfer, I apologize. For those who are, hopefully it resonates with you. And if you should take up the game, it's a very humbling game. If you want to become more humble, start playing golf and chasing that little white ball around the course. But who's walking with you and helping you to play the next hole in the game of life? There's a number of amazing, beautiful metaphors between life and business and golf. But I just love that image. Wally Armstrong shared that with me, a former PGA professional who I met through Denny Dahlman. Again, it's all about relationships. Coachable and curious. And I had to put up George. I mean, you can never be too old for Curious George. The general agent who hired me back in 1997 gave us his 5 top leadership books. And guess what one of them was? Curious George. The other one was, one of the other 5 was Little Engine That Could, that grit factor. I think I can. But I love George. I love the curiosity. We have to have it. It's so beautiful and amazing. Coachable is my word for this year. I've been doing this one-word initiative for the last 5 years. It's awesome having that true north, that core that you go to every day. And as I'm only 4 months into it now, but people say, well, what does coachable mean to you? I think it means that I'm teachable. I enter every day like this. I'm teachable. I'm open-minded. And having that can-do, that growth mindset Steve mentioned again, I can learn, I can grow, and I can develop every day. This year I started saying, I am good at technology. I've been negative self-talking myself for a while. I'm old and I'm a dinosaur and I'm old school. No, I'm good at technology. How coachable are you? That's a question I want you to think about. I don't ask people if they are coachable because that's close-ended and they're going to say yes. I say, how coachable are you? Could you be more coachable? Mo knows this. Mo and I have talked about this. He's on my screen. So this guy is one of the best athletes ever. He plays World Series softball and hockey. And we know we can always get better because we're coachable. And you can never get to the point where you stop being coachable. So in the same sense, how can I improve today? What's that little thing? What's that one little thing I can work on today to improve and get better and take steps forward. Who can help me? And who can I help? This beautiful idea of flow. I have a picture from Monty Nagler, who's a photographer. He trained under Ansel Adams. It's a picture of a waterfall. And I love this idea of flow. It's like having these open hands. So who can I help improve and who's helping to improve me? It's just like a river, just always flowing. I love that idea and that concept. I also love this one. It's up on my wall. One of my favorite quotes, Albert Einstein said, "I have no special talents." How's that for being humble? "I'm only passionately curious." And this was on a brochure I used to use at my old company. I don't have all the answers, but I do have all the questions. And gosh darn it, I'm going to find that out. Don't clients love it when you admit that and you bring that honesty and you don't try and be a know-it-all? So you know what? That's a good one. I haven't been asked that one yet, but I'm going to find out and get back to you. And when you do what you say you're going to do, Dan Sullivan, that's one of his 4 referability habits. Do what you say you're going to do, darn it. All right, now getting into Humble Inquiry. So Humble Inquiry, it is a book by Edgar Schein. The subtitle is one of my favorite parts. It's the gentle art. It is an art. This does not happen overnight. You have to be intentional. You have to continue to work on this over and over every single day. But it's the art of asking and not telling. Think about that. Think about how we're told by whoever, not going to name any names, but I think at this point in my life, I'm 49 years old, I'm sick of being told what to do. I'd rather and prefer when people ask me and try and understand, what's going on with me. And I'm now trying to do that more and more with other folks. John Gordon, one of the most positive people I know. I've been following him last year. In fact, his positive summit just started today too. What a coincidence, right? There's nothing more powerful than a humble person with a warrior spirit who is driven by a bigger purpose. Be that person today. Can I get an amen on that one? All right, here's humble. I shared this with Steve in our little preview, but actually, folks, humble, the origin of the word comes from the Latin humulus, meaning grounded or from the earth. And I think at the end of our lives, we would all hope to be called salt of the earth type of people. All right, I got a couple right out of the book here that really kind of key in on what humble inquiry means. It's the fine art of drawing someone out, as Steve did in that conversation, asking me what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go next after my halftime of asking questions to which you do not already know the answer, of building a relationship based on curiosity, there's that word again, and interest in the other person. Interest in the other person, passion for the other person, love for the other person, even if they're a stranger. Because it's not about you. Rick Warren, first 4 words in The Purpose-Driven Life, it's not about you. It's all about the other person. Here's another excerpt from that book. I want to inquire in the way that will best discover what is really on the other person's mind. I want the other person to feel that I accept them, I'm interested, and again, I'm genuinely curious about what is on their minds regarding the particular situation we find ourselves in. How many times do you have a conversation or reach out to somebody and it's just not a good time? And to say, hey, how can I help? Is there some way I can pray for you? I'll get back to you at a later time. Those little tiny things are such big things in these relationships. Now, I feel it's appropriate to share a story to kind of illustrate all this and bring it together. I coach at Heartland High School, girls and boys varsity tennis. I absolutely love it, love pouring into these kids. And I had a player on my boys team the past 2 seasons. His name is Jack. So when Jack was a junior, Jack was always late to practice. And as a coach, I really didn't appreciate that very much, to the point where I had a bad moment one day and he walked on the court as we were doing our little huddle. And I said something to the effect of, gee, Jack, thanks for coming today. Nice for you to be here. Thanks for showing up. And it was a bad moment for me. That night I felt terrible. The next day I pulled him aside and I apologized. I said, that was wrong of me to do that. Please forgive me. That was a neat moment for us. It kind of turned things in our relationship. He did start coming a little bit earlier, but then his senior season, it started happening again. So I tried to learn. I tried to be coachable and do it a little better way that I didn't feel bad about it and would get a better result. So I actually walked off the court and I met Jack as I saw him approaching the court. So we're away from the team now. And I said, Jack, can you please help me understand what is keeping you from getting to practice on time? And he said, well, coach, he said, I have 6 AP classes right now, and I'm number 3 in my class, and I'd really like to be number 1. I have a ton of work. I'm always wrapped up, and I just lose track of time. And I'm so glad I asked, because I thought, number 1, man, I'm rooting for you now. I hope you get to be number 1 in the class, which I will find out shortly in the next month or so whether he did. But I said, thank you. I'm glad I asked. I really appreciate that. Can you please at least try and look at that clock a little better? And he got a smile on his face and he said, yes, I will, coach. But that's just an example of one way how not to do it, and how to take this coach approach and humble inquiry that leads to more positive relationships and organizations. So as we start to land this plane, a couple questions here for you. Number 1, how can we step more fully into humility today? Number 2, what is one action that you can take to start practicing this today? Look, again, that little thing, what's that little baby step that you can do to be more humble, to step into humility, that's going to help? I've got some ideas on that for you, instead of the old tried and true, so what do you do? Maybe try one of these questions to start a little conversation, or at least start incorporating them into the conversation. Hey, what are you most excited about? That's such a powerful question. We start some of our Caerusnet meetings with that. And I just had my financial advisor in Ann Arbor, Ryan Schuckman, just said that's the question he's asking people right now. What are you most excited about? What or who inspires you? There's that word inspiration in there. I found the shorter the question sometimes, the more powerful. What are your strengths? I think that's a great way to really get to know somebody. What are they good at? And are they in the right place? Are they in the right lane? Or are they going through a period of transition? Here's a fun one too. What are you reading right now? What are you listening to? We all, I know Steve and I share a love for music. What are you listening to? What are you watching? Any funny shows, any good movies or something like that? Those are like really cool connection and bonding moments. How about, again, what's your vision for the future? I love this one. Over the last 14 months, what's your hope for the future? We are going to get out of this. We're getting out of it right now. We're continuing to move forward. We have to. We're going to get busy living or get busy dying out of Shawshank Redemption, right? And who is a good connection for you? I'd love to be a connection and a resource for you. So I have a couple invitations, and I'll close with an offer. My first invitation is this. This Tuesday at the Durfee Innovation Society, you can come and see it yourself. We have an amazing guy, a new friend, referred to me, introduced to me by Rob Pasick in Ann Arbor. His name's Jonathan Quarles. Jonathan's written this amazing book called Making Dollars While Making Change. How cool is that title? His chapter 4 is called Don't Build Your Network, Attract It, right? And I'm just thinking, oh my gosh, this is blowing my mind, because this is like, you're speaking my language here. So we're so excited to have JQ come join us. It's free, like all Caerusnet meetings for visitors. There's the information. I'm happy to get you more information. He's going to be signing copies of his book. It's going to be a great event, 8 o'clock this Tuesday, April 27th. Come join us in an in-person meeting. Secondly, I know we're having some music later, but this may be the first live music event. And I had the chance to share on WHMI a couple weeks ago about this. It benefits my sister Beth's scholarship fund at Heartland High School. She passed away in 1992. We continue to grow her scholarship through a golf outing, and this concert is celebrating the 20th anniversary of that. We're bringing in a band from Nashville called the Old Americana Band. 3 singers. Unfortunately, Kayla Reeves, I just heard yesterday, was in a car accident and broke her hip. So Kayla will not be joining us, but Frank West was on The Voice. He sang my favorite song, Sitting on the Dock of the Bay, as his audition. And Rochelle and Heather are wonderful singers. So it's going to be a fun night. General admission tickets are $45 at Dunham Hills in Heartland. Please share this with folks. We want to have a great turnout, and we'd hope that you would join us that day. Lastly, my motto is live proactively. I'd love to connect with you for a quick chat or a trust builder. There's my cell phone, my email, and my website. And as a final offer here, all attendees of today's ReferralTopia would receive a complimentary 30-minute coaching session to just explore where you're at, where you're going, and how I can help. So thank you so much, everyone, for listening in. I hope this was valuable. I hope, again, the 3 takeaways to just press into and step into being more humble, being a better listener, really active listening to understand and not to respond. And lastly, just how to continue to get better every day and ask better questions of those people around you. So Steve, I know we wanted to leave a moment or two for questions if we do have any here. And thank you so much. This was a pleasure being here today.
All right, first and foremost, let's put our hands together for Doug Moffat. Obviously, that was probably a 1-hour presentation that he was able to get done in less than 30 minutes. So unbelievable work, Doug. Thank you so much. Does anybody have a fast question for Doug? If you do, just go ahead and throw it out there. If not, I just want to make a fast announcement about how we're going to approach the rest of today. Do we have a question?
Yeah, I was going to say, Doug, I love the idea of asking questions and instead of telling people what to do. That's definitely my approach in my coaching practice. And I put in the text, ask questions and offer invitations, because at that point you can't go wrong. You know, it's so because it's not on me now that you did something that I told you to do and now you failed and now you can blame me. It's like, oh.
That's right. That's right. No, I love that. Yeah, thank you.
So thank you for saying that as well.
Absolutely.
Okay, any other questions for Doug? Okay, Doug, I think you just rocked the house and blew everybody away again with how much you packed into this 30-minute presentation. Again, one more round of applause for Doug Moffat from the Moffat Group. You know, Doug is a founder of the Moffat Group, a leadership coach, professional networker, and Caerusnet facilitator. So just a fast note, at 11:30, we have the marketing speed networking session. So if you're somebody in the marketing space, whether that's websites, whether that's actually doing marketing, if you're in those spaces or you want to meet people in those spaces, please be sure you attend that section. And then our next live speaker is Lisa Manini at 12:30. Again, all you have to do is click on those links on the landing page. We look forward to seeing you there. And don't forget, we've got expo exhibitors that are manning a Zoom room. They're looking forward to networking with you too. So in between the speed networking and in between the presentations, please be sure you visit those expo exhibitors so you can do some more networking, make some more great contacts, and don't forget to use the hashtag ReferralTopia 2021 for any positive social posts you can do about today's event. All right, Doug Moffat, thanks so much for the humble presentation today. You kicked it out of the park, and I hope everybody here continues to advance through the rest of our day today. We're keeping this going until 3 o'clock. So we'll see you guys at the next event.